Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we are back with our fourth Amazon tech haul. I got another box full of stuff here. Some of this stuff I've looked at ahead of time, and some of it's pretty cool. And then I got a couple of things that I haven't tried yet that might be misses, but we will find out as we work our way through the video here. Now, I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that most of this stuff came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. There's one item that I'll point out a little later that came in from the manufacturer. All the opinions you're about to hear, though, are my own. No one is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded. So let's get into it now, and let's see what's in my latest tech haul box. All right, so the first item that I pulled out of the box here is actually pretty neat. This is the Gulikit 7-in-1 docking station, and this is essentially a USB Type-C dock, but it's designed to be used with the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, and some of the other portable PCs. I've got one of those in the room here with me, so we'll try those out. Additionally, it apparently also works with the Switch as well. So we will play around with that and see if it's compatible. And what struck me about this, and by the way, this came in free of charge from the manufacturer. This is the one item that I did not get through Amazon Vine. Now, what struck me about this is that it looks like a Super Nintendo, complete with switches here. These switches don't do anything, but they click. And what you can do is slide back the faux cartridge slot here to reveal the cradle for your handheld device. And I think this was primarily a dock for the Steam Deck, but there are other handheld PCs that should work with it. Now, you'll notice in the case of the Switch that there's no plug here on the bottom. So when we get the Switch out, I suspect that we're going to be just kind of putting the Switch next to the dock to get the functionality out of it. Now, on the back here, you have a recessed USB-C out that goes to the computer. They give you a cable in the box for that, and it fits in perfectly, obviously. I just worry that if something happens to this cable, you're kind of out of luck. The cable is at a 90-degree angle, so it should work well for the Steam Deck and some of the others that have that top USB Type-C port. This is where you plug in your power. There's no power adapter that comes with it, but you could plug in your whatever power supply came with your device, like the one that came with the Steam Deck. HDMI out. This apparently supports 4K 60. And then you've got 3 USB 3 ports. Just remember, they share the bandwidth going back to the host device. The Steam Deck has a 10 gigabit per second USB port, so if you have external hard drives, you can plug them in there. And you've got gigabit Ethernet as well. Now, what's neat is that the front portion here actually pops off, and underneath it, they have a storage area for your SD cards. So you can just store them here. They don't do anything in there, but you can store them. And this snaps on securely to keep everything in place. So let me get out my Steam Deck now, and let's see if this thing works. All right, so I've got my dock here connected up to everything. We have Ethernet plugged in here. We have a wireless USB dongle plugged into one of the USB ports for this mouse, so we can test the USB functionality. I have an HDMI output going to this display right here. And then I've got power coming in from my USB Type-C power source. One thing to note is that they have some airflow vents here, so your Steam Deck will be able to suck in air when it is docked. And I'm going to place it in the dock here right now. And what I'm going to do is connect up the cable. And what we should see happening here is the display going dark and my monitor lighting up. And let's see if my mouse works. Yep, my mouse works here. And if I go up to the top here, we can see that we are charging, which is good. And hopefully that Ethernet will connect in a minute as well. Right now it's still on Wi-Fi, but it just turned on the wired connection. So that is working too. So it looks like the Steam Deck here is working successfully through the dock, which is what you'd want to see here. So that's good. All right, let's try my other PC gaming handheld, the Lenovo Legion Go. And in full disclosure, the Legion Go did come in free of charge from Lenovo for the review that we did recently. Now, the Legion Go is larger, and what I'm finding here is that the included cable is not quite long enough to get a comfortable fit. So I have to move this over a bit, and I can get it in there, but there is a good amount of strain, I think, on the connector. It's not an ideal situation here. There's a little more slack on the Steam Deck because it is a smaller device. But as you can see here, everything has connected up. I am charging. My Ethernet got activated. The mouse is working. This being a Windows device, I do have to adjust my display settings for this, but it does work, as expected, with the Legion Go. And it does also work, they say, with the Asus ROG Ally. And pretty much anything that has a full-service USB-C port here is going to work. So even computers will work with this if you can get them plugged in. But let's take a look now and see if the Nintendo Switch works with it. And of course, you can't rest the Switch in the dock because there's no connector here. And you don't want to put it in upside down because the exhaust fan here is on the top and you might overheat your Switch. So I think the best scenario here is to just close it up and attach the cable and just have the Switch sit next to it. So this is marginally compatible. At least it should be electronically, but not physically. So we will connect up my Switch here, and let's see if it activates the display. Now this is one of the original Switches. In fact, I bought this the first week it came out. So these are a little finicky when it comes to power. So I'm curious to see if it actually charges the Switch when it's docked. So I'm going to hit my home button here, but yep, sure enough, it is charging. The Ethernet is working. And of course, we've got everything outputting to my display here. So this is compatible with the Switch. You just have to rest it next to it, along with other devices too. So pretty neat little dock, and I think it looks pretty cool too. Now this next item is just a cable, but if you have a Microsoft Surface device, I think you're going to find it quite helpful. Now I have a Surface Laptop Go 2. This is my little portable Windows machine. And what I love about it is how portable and useful and relatively powerful it is, but it only has a single USB-C power connector. And when I travel, I like to take this with me. This is an Oremo USB-C/AC power strip. This thing's awesome. It's got a nice long cable on it. It does 120 watts total out of the USB, but it basically passes through AC power as well. So when I travel, I just need one power adapter. The problem, though, is that if I travel with my Surface Laptop Go here, and I want to use the USB-C thing to charge, I lose my USB-C connector for that purpose. There's only one USB-C port on this device. But I found this cable, which allows you to connect to the Microsoft Power port on the right-hand side of the unit here. This is that magnetic thing that you use with its included power adapter. But when you plug it into a USB-C power source, you're good to go. Look at that. And I charged this thing up overnight with it. It works fine. So if you have the right USB-C power adapter, you don't need to take your Microsoft adapter with you anymore, and you'll get very similar, if not identical, functionality to what you had before, especially if you have a Surface Laptop Go. All right, next up is a little item here. This is ideal for iPhones. This is the Joy Room Silicone Grip. And let me show you what this thing does, and we'll go from there. So this is like a grip/stand for an iPhone that has MagSafe built into it. And it just so happens that my iPhone does. And so what you do is you just get this thing close enough to your phone and it kind of snaps into position. And you've got a little silicone ring here that you can use to hold your phone. It kind of works like a pop socket. One thing to note though is that although MagSafe is strong, it's not completely like a adhered device. So if you pull on it hard enough or you flick the phone away from yourself fast enough, it will detach. But it's strong enough to give you some peace of mind, I think. You can certainly dangle the phone here, as you can see. What I like about it, though, is that it also has a little stand built in, so you can put your phone down when you're on a plane or something and angle it. And it's actually got a lot of room in its hinge here. It's pretty stiff, so you can get it positioned in the ideal spot for how you might be sitting. So pretty neat little device here. Again, it doesn't grip as hard as I would like, but it's adequate. Now, they advertise this thing as being compatible with Android phones, but unfortunately, it won't be magnetically. So here on a Pixel 8 phone, you can see it slides around a lot. It does stick to it, but it's not ideal. So in the box, for phones that don't have MagSafe, they give you adhesives here to stick on the back. I don't like sticking things on the back of my phone, but that's pretty much the only way you're going to get similar functionality on a non-MagSafe phone. But on the MagSafe phones, it works quite nicely. You can't charge through it, though. So if you do wirelessly charge, you need to take this thing off before you put it on your charger. I was not able to get it to charge through the grip here. But otherwise, I think it's pretty useful, especially for traveling if you want to set your phone up on your airplane tray. All right, next up, I got some cases for the Meta Quest 3 that I bought recently, and you can find my review of it. I've been really happy with this headset, but I needed something to store it in, and I didn't want to pay top dollar for the official Meta case. So I found these two through the Amazon Vine program. These come from a company called Apex In. This is their hard case, and this is their large case. So let's take a look at the hard case first, which is smaller. It is very compact actually, but if you have the Elite strap like I do, even when you've got it fully retracted here, it doesn't fit. See that? You can't use it. So this is not going to work for me at all because I have the Elite strap on it. If you have the strap that it came with, you'd probably be okay, but for me, not going to work. But the controllers do fit nicely in here. You just got to get them in the right position. So you put them in there, and if my headset fit, I would be able to secure everything in this smaller case. But this one's not going to do it for me. So if you have any kind of strap beyond the basic one, you're out of luck. But the bigger one here should work. So let's open it up here. And it looks like our nose piece goes in that way. So why don't we put the controllers in first, actually. And just like the other one, it's kind of molded for each hand. So you want to make sure you get them inserted properly there. So those look like they fit pretty good. And now we're going to put the headset in. And now I've actually got to let it out a little bit to get it in there. And then we can secure it with the Velcro here. And another secure strap there. So not bad. It's got some extra room here towards the back. You've got a nice big pocket here in the front. And it is relatively rigid, although it is pretty large, as you can see here. But I think it's going to hold everything. You can get your power adapter in there. You can probably store a game controller if you've got some games that support that. So I think this one will work. Probably not as fancy as the official one. It's probably a little larger, but it does what it's supposed to do, which is secure my Meta Quest 3. And you can get one of these without breaking the bank. So I think the large one here is the way to go, especially if you have any kind of strap beyond the included one. Now our last two items are going to be either hit or miss, so we'll see how we do here. Now this is a pack of really cheap handheld video games. You get 12 of them in a bag, so if you've got like a video game themed party, you can hand these out as party favors and not break the bank. They've got two different configurations here, and apparently they've got a bunch of games loaded up on them. I would keep your expectations in check here, because these are super cheap, and I don't think you're going to get a great gameplay experience out of it. But they have one that's kind of oriented as a little Game Boy here, and they play a nice little music song, and I was struggling earlier trying to figure out how to get the game to actually start. There's a lot of configuration that you can go through here, different game variations. A lot of them revolve around just kind of moving pieces around, similar to Tetris, but not quite. And you get stuck in this loop of trying to figure out how to get the game to start. So it actually looks like there's a Tetris game here. And this is just one of the games that I played on it earlier. Not ideal. The screen is super tiny. But you know what? For a party favor, it might be kind of fun. And you can scroll through all the different game options here. They've got different speeds and different levels you can play at. And here's like another game where you're kind of avoiding cars or something. And it looks like the games are the same on both orientations here. And they're a little better than like the Tiger handhelds I remember playing as a kid that had fixed graphics, so at least you got that going for you here. And I'll open up the other one here just so you can see what this looks like. So yeah, I mean, not something I would sit down and play with or purchase, but I think for a kid's birthday party where you've got a bunch of video game fanatics coming by, or if you have a video game theme to your party, this might be kind of a fun way to go. This is like a little shooting game. So there's some variation here. And for the price point, you know, might be kind of fun to hand this out. So there you go. This is the mini game player. All right, this last one will likely be a buyer beware recommendation. This is an Android game tablet that comes with not only the tablet, but two game controllers. I have not booted it up yet, so I have no idea what I'm getting into here, but we'll see. So let's get into the unboxing first. So you've got your tablet here. It looks like it's got a screen protector already installed on it. So that's nice to see. Feels relatively rugged. Not bad. It's all plastic. It's got like a cool little car in the back here. And apparently there's a stand here that you can push out so you can set it up and place it on the desk like so. So, okay, so far so good. And let's see what else is in the box here before we boot this thing up. Have some instructions here for the tablet and then also for the controllers. And it looks like plug the gamepad receiver. Oh, geez, so there's like a USB-C connector for the controllers and not Bluetooth. Oh boy, yeah, okay. Not the highest quality controller. In fact, they feel pretty lousy, to be honest with you. But you do get two of them. Okay. And what else do we have in here? Let's see. Yeah, so I'm not feeling too confident here. Let's take a look and see what else we get here. So this is the charging cable. We might need that because I just took it out of the box. It is a USB-A to USB-C. And then we've got a power adapter. What I don't see is the USB-C dongle that they are suggesting or requiring you to use for the controllers. So I may need to dig a little bit further here. But let me get organized. Let's boot this thing up and let's see how it works. All right, so I got it booted up here. This has an all-winner A133 chip on board, which is basically 4 Cortex A53s. It does, though, have 4 gigabytes of memory and 64 gigabytes of storage, so that's not bad. Plus, on the side here, it's got an SD card slot. I do get nervous about these because you don't know where they're coming from. I did run the Google Play Protect scan on it, and it didn't find anything concerning on board, but that doesn't mean there's not something running at the root level on this. The display is not good. It's a TN display. It's running at 720p. The touch display is rather slow and laggy, and it's not always capturing every press of the screen that I'm doing. So I would put this, insofar as its usability is concerned, below like the lowest cost Amazon tablet. It's not great, at least insofar as my navigation through this. The other issue I have with it are the controllers. You need a total of 6 AAA batteries, which are not included, to get these controllers working. You might be better off just getting some Bluetooth controllers and another tablet, to be honest with you. They don't feel all that great. And they also require that you use this dongle to connect the controllers to the tablet. So that is how that works. Let me see if I can get a game working on this and we'll see how it performs. All right, so I did get Minecraft running on here, but unfortunately it is very, very slow. You'll get a little spurt of smooth gameplay and then a huge amount of lag. The other problem is the controllers are not what games are looking for insofar as control surfaces are concerned. So for example, you do have a directional pad on here, which I guess feels okay. But the control stick here is not an analog stick. It also works as a control pad. So normally you'd have a twin stick situation on your controller where one would control the view and the other one would control your direction. With these controllers, you don't get that. There's no shoulder buttons. They're fairly useless, I think, for modern gaming. And of course, the tablet here, even though it's got a good amount of RAM, just doesn't perform very well. So this game will continually lock up on you, get kind of laggy. It's doing okay now that we're shooting here, but I think it'll probably freeze up again on us. So overall, I think you're going to do better getting, an Amazon Fire tablet or something that maybe costs a little bit more. I know they've got some decent ones at Walmart now too. You're going to get much better display quality, much better performance, and you can buy a couple of cheap game pads to go with it that connect over Bluetooth. It's going to be a better experience than this. And just as I started recording this, I looked up the current product page for this thing, and they're not even selling it right now, so I don't know if we'll ever even see this thing again. But this is one of those examples of being really careful when you're out buying some of these Android devices. You can find these cheap things and they're enticing from a price standpoint. You boot them up, they run Android, but they don't really do much of anything very well. So that's where spending a little bit more on a name brand might be a better place to go, especially when we have things like the Amazon Fire tablets and the On tablets that are very, very good for the price point. So this is I think our one big miss of the stream today, but the other stuff I thought was pretty neat. So there you go. That is all the stuff I got for this haul. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Brian Parker, Budley, Hot Sauce and Video Games, Steve Green, and Amda Brown. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.